Hello and welcome to Kidder Farms. We're back with another episode of the Minnesota Millennial Farmer map, and we are in the middle of our soybean planting cycle right now, and so we're trying to keep everything moving. If you missed the live stream that we had as our last episode, we have acquired this demo unit. It's an 8RX with a DB90 attached to it, and we're currently in the process of topping off the seed here. We're using the 8RX here to tackle the bigger of our two fields that need soybeans to go into them. And so this has been working out for us really well. We cover a lot of acres with this machine, and we do have course play going for this guy. We did, in the live stream, turn back on the cost for workers in course play, so we are actually paying for our workers now, which is awesome. And we're just going to double check here in our settings that we are not buying any seed or fertilizer or anything like that. And so this guy's going to just keep trucking here on this particular field. And then if we jump down here, I've also got course play running on field 6 here, putting in soybeans. And so we've got quite a bit of seed left here, so I'm not too worried about this guy running out of seed. And so we're going to let him continue going here as well. And then we need to jump up here. We were doing a little bit of spraying of our corn as well in the previous episode. And so we're going to turn off all of these menus, but we do have sprayer suction control installed. And that has been working out pretty well here with the precision farming and our helpers in course play. But we don't need course play here. I think we're going to actually tackle this spraying on our own. I'm absolutely loving this John Deere 4940 by Custom Modding. This is the version from the in-game mod hub. Coupled with sprayer section control, this works really well. We're going to try and drop our sprayer down just a little bit closer to the ground here as we get going. But we've got just a little bit of spraying left to do here on this field, and we should be done with our nitrogen. Now, typically I would probably knife this in or wait till the corn comes up and use some sprayer drops. I don't think it's terribly effective spraying it on top after the effect, but this is the option we had left available to us because I didn't really think this through ahead of actually planting without any fertilizer on the planter itself. I'd probably want to run some kind of side dressing over after the corn popped up a little bit, but we don't have the equipment for that yet on this farm, so we're going to make do with the equipment that we have and the farm sim mechanics that we have available to us. And I'm going to think this through a little bit better for next time before we get into our corn planting season. I think we will likely be trying to run some anhydrous ammonia here maybe on this particular farm. We'll see how it goes. We've got a lot of time until fall to test that out, but with sprayer section control here, we're going to make really short work of this field, and so I'm not too worried about it. We are jumping over our rows a little bit here. One of the things that keeps coming up in every series that I've done, or every episode that I've done on this map so far, is the custom planting textures that you see here. They're not quite ready for release. However, I will link in the description of this video the tutorial that Argsy did on how to add custom textures to your map, and I believe he provides a link to the custom textures that we used for inspiration on this particular set. And so they're pretty close to this. They just include some crop stubble mixed in with them. And so if you're looking to get custom crop textures put in, or custom ground textures, I should say, since technically there are no crops at this stage, I will put that link in the description below. And just like that, we are pretty much wrapped up with the nitrogen spraying for our corn. And so if we stop here and start folding this guy up, if I bring up the precision farming map here, a couple of things to point out. First, you can see we've got cornfields are 1, 4, and 10. And so you can see that we've got nitrogen applied to all 3 of those fields. Ignore this. This was some testing I was doing before I started the series. And so we'll have a little extra nitrogen there. And if we look here, we managed to get all of our fields limed before the series started for a change, which is amazing. And if we jump back to the main map, you can see here planting is well underway. We've got the big DB90 knocking out the acres here on field 3 and our DB60s down here on field 6. So we're going to go check in on both of those here in just a second. Let's start first, however, with getting this 4940 back up into the yard. However, before we put this away, we need to dump the fertilizer that we've got inside of it out. And we are going to be switching this over to herbicide here soon. We're going to need to spray right after we're done planting the beans. We'll probably chase out after that into the field and put some of this herbicide down just to keep the weeds down. If I recall, we usually sprayed some Roundup on our bean ground either right before or right after planting, before they popped up for sure. And so I think that that is a game mechanic that I would like to see added to Farm Sim at some point, concepts of different kinds of spray. However, I think what we're going to do to start here is we're going to put this sprayer right here. We'll get it all set up for herbicide here at a little bit later time. This trailer has also been completely emptied out here, and so we're all set up to get a move on with the herbicide. So let's go ahead and find a spot to stick this chemical. I think we're gonna actually store it in this little shed here. I know in real life this is the garage that Zach likes to keep his toys and stuff in. However, for our purposes, I think this is gonna be a great utility shed to store things like our fuel trailer and likely our chemical and such. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab the pallets that we've got over here and see if we can stick them in that shed. I am notoriously bad at my forklifting skills, and so we're going to try not to embarrass ourselves here. I'm also noticing that these forks don't quite get all the way to the ground with the way that the front loader is working here. So hopefully I'm able to scoop this up. Looks like I've got it, no problem. So we're gonna just drop this chemical right in here, I think, for now. Try not to block our bucket in too much there. We might need to get that out at some point. And we'll just grab this other pallet real quick and get trucking on the next job. And we might as well just leave the 6R in the shed here. I don't think we've got anything else that we need that for right now. And let's go ahead and head out to the field here and check on these planters. Alright, it looks like our 8RT has gotten full here. So let's go ahead and just stop the course play driver real quick. And we're gonna go grab our seed tender and run it down here and get this guy all filled back up. And as long as we're at it, I'm just checking the other planter, and it is also about to run out of seed. And so I don't want to run out of seed in the middle of the field. And so we're gonna go ahead and stop him and bring him back down here onto the headland for a moment with our 2.8 bushels of seed left in the hopper. And that'll make it easy for us to just fill both of these planters up real quick and get everything moving again. Now I am going to just whip this guy around and put him back on the same row we were before, just so that I remember where we need to go. Let's grab this truck and run it back down to the other end of this field. So one thing I do want to be conscious of as we fill this planter up is that I've only got a half a hopper of seed left here. And so I want to leave a little bit of seed left in the tender to put into the other planter, just because I know we've got a couple of passes left to make over there. And so I think that we definitely need more seed over here, but I'm going to keep about 25% of our capacity for the other planter, just to make sure we can finish that other field off. And this should be more than enough to keep this planter going for a while. We can head back up into the yard and top off the seed tender here. I think the co-op delivery truck needs to be getting it on its way here, so I think after we top the seed tender off, that's going to be the last load that we're going to get from him before he leaves. And I'm going to go ahead and just start course play off here. Should be good to go. We're not that far off the headland here, so I think we're going to just see if I can back this in along the planter. Look at that, first try. Definitely no complaints about that. We might be a little bit off, but we're gonna blame FarmSim's inability to put a full hose on the end of this seed tender for us. And with that, let's go ahead and get this planter started again. I've definitely been enjoying this DB60. However, I think I need to do something to be able to put fertilizer on while we're planting here. We'll be attempting to apply some anhydrous ammonia, I think, in the fall or spring before planting, but it's going to be really hard with precision farming and the different soil types to get that to the exact level that we should. And so it's going to be easier if we can kind of finish things off with the planter. And so I'm thinking about how to best put a liquid setup on here. I think that there's actually some side tanks that'll work with this 8RT. And so we might look at putting the Demco side tanks on the side of the tractor here and give that a whirl. I don't know that I've ever done that yet with a planting setup. I really can't recall. So that's kind of where my head's at right now as something to try out that's a little bit new. But that's definitely going to be for next planting season. We're on our last couple of passes here on this field, and I'm sure that DB90 is going to wrap up the big field 3 here in short order as well. Now it looks like we're coming up oh so close to a perfect match between the two parts of the field here, so I'm really hoping that our luck continues as we go to the end of the field here. I suspect it will. I think that Courseplay probably had a hand in getting everything to line up this nicely. But it is exciting to be on the last round here. We've got just a little bit of soybeans left in the planter here. And so we definitely picked about the right amount to put back into here. I'd rather have a few too many rather than come up short here in the field and have to make a run for more seed at this late stage in the planting cycle. And our fuel consumption, I've got the increased fuel utilization mod here. I'm not sure what it's called, increased fuel consumption maybe, by the folks that did Seasons, I believe. And so our tractor is now below 50% fuel after the planting season here, which feels pretty cool. So we're going to have to top off the diesel when we get this back up to the yard for sure. And just like that, we've got another field of soybeans planted. So while the 8RT and DB60 get all folded up there, we're going to bring the truck and seed tender back up to the yard here. And I want to check in on this DB90. In fact, as long as we see the 8RX sitting here right now, I'm going to take a look at how much seed we've got. We got 38% seed left here in the planter. And we've got not that many long passes left. And so I think we're going to let the co-op know that they're good to go. I don't think we're going to need any more seed from the co-op. If we need any seed, we'll probably dump it out of the planter and put it back into the seed tender here and run that out to the DB90. I think we've probably got enough left in the DB60 to finish off this field if we start to run low on seed in our DB90. I'm really enjoying that 8RX and DB90 setup. Having gone through planting this year, I think that the DB60 alone would have been too small. We would have just spent too much time working on our planting for the season, I think. And so I'm definitely going to be looking to add that to the farm, possibly. Anybody that's watched the channel for any period of time knows that I just love the 8RX as a tractor. And so any opportunity I can use to justify an upgrade on the farm to add an 8RX, you know I'm going to take it. So we're going to leave this seed tender here. We're going to come over here and talk to the co-op guy and get him to send this truck back up to the co-op. All right, there goes the Clock Brothers seed. He's all good to go. We squared up. No complaints. Always excellent service from Mr. Clock. Let's go ahead and grab this 8RT with the DB60 here now and get this run back up to the yard. And I think we're going to go ahead and just get the seed emptied out of this once we get up to the yard here. All right, we are back up in the yard here with the planter. And we're going to go ahead and dump that seed out here. Realistically, it would take quite a bit more to clean out the planter. Maybe not quite a bit more. It's not that big of a job, but at least not to get the bulk of it out so that we can use it in the other planter. We are going to just wash everything up here real quick, and then we'll check on this DB90, which we can see just over the hill there. And so that means he's almost done. And in fact, it looks like he's just finished. So we're going to jump in here. I can't imagine he's got that much seed, but I do want to stop him from folding up. I'm going to use what little seed. Oh yeah, we've got 4.2% or 4.2 bushels left in here. And so I'm just going to unfold this guy again and fix this little corner that we missed, because this is absolutely going to drive me nuts if we leave it there. And these are soybeans, so not as picky about lining them up with the rows. There we go. And we are all planted. So let's get this back up in the yard now. We are gonna fold this back up. So much like the DB60, I'm gonna bring this up in the yard, and we're gonna dump this seed right back out of the DB90 here. There's not that much there, but we might as well capture it all. And I'll probably load both of these up into the seed tender, I think, for now. Just so that I don't have as many loose pallets floating about on the map. Generally, my experience with lots of pallets is that they tend to cause a fair amount of lag in Farming Simulator. A handful probably won't be a problem, but we just don't want to take any risks. And so I'm going to go ahead and just start stacking equipment over here for now until I figure out where we're going to store this in the sheds. We're going to get this 8RX and DB90 all cleaned up. We don't want to return it to the dealer looking like that. We'll do that off camera though. And I want to make sure we get this seed picked up before we forget about it and have to do it again later, or have to do it later. And because we've converted this thing over so that it is a bulk fill style from the top, I can't put the auger out to load these, but we can just pull up alongside them and load them old school style, which honestly works for me. Being able to bulk fill the seed tender is more valuable to me than losing a little bit of realism of being able to put that auger out to fill. And we're gonna go ahead and just open this shed up and back this seed tender right on into here. Get it out of the way because we are done planting for the year. That was our last soybean field. I think this fits in there. Yeah, perfect. Perfect height. Just like that. Everything's all set up and done with spring planting. We've got all of our fertilizer sprayed. And so now we just gotta wait a stage and we can put down some herbicide and get the spraying done here in the summer. If we take one last quick look at the map, fields 1, 4, and 10 are our corn, 3 and 6 are soybeans. So I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of spraying done here next episode. Maybe we'll do that on a live stream actually. That's a lot of spraying to do, so maybe spraying would be a good live stream activity. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see us do a live stream with our spraying activities. We could probably squeeze that in on Thursday this week. This video coming out on a Monday. However, that's all for today. Kedrick out. And so we're just gonna shove these right in here. Whoa, pallets for the win in Farming Simulator.